It's the Fancy Feast Ultralight Alcohol Stove. I'm going to show you how to make one for under 20 bucks, and I'm going to give this one away. Stay tuned. Okay, before I show you how to build the Fancy Feast stove, I want to show you one of the reasons why I really like this stove. Other than it being ultra light, it's ultra simple. I can fit everything inside of my 550 milliliter pot here. So let me show you what's in my cook kit. Inside of the pot I have the matches and lighter in a little baggie. Of course I have the stove. Inside of the stove I have a little measuring cup. This measuring cup will be used to measure the amount of alcohol that you're putting in your stove. Also inside is a little pan. So if you're cooking someplace without a picnic table or a level cooking area and you have to put it on the ground, this will give you a little bit more surface area to make it a little bit more stable, and it'll protect the ground from the heat. Then we have our windscreen, and of course you just put your pot on and you're ready to cook. Let's go out and I'll show you what supplies you need to buy. Alright, headed to Wally World. Need to buy our supplies. The first item, of course, that we need to pick up for our Fancy Feast stove is a can of Fancy Feast. Should I go with the beef feast or the chicken feast? I'm feeling like beef today. The next item that you need to pick up is a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. So you're going to need some alcohol for your alcohol stove. What most people use is heat, which is an additive for your gas in your car, but I have a better option. Over in the paint area of Walmart or any other store, near the paint thinner and turpentine is denatured alcohol. Denatured alcohol burns great for the stove. You get a little bit more ounces in this can, and it's a little cheaper. The next item you're going to need is some carbon felt, and where you find that is at your local home improvement store. I'm at Menards in the plumbing section. Carbon felt is used by plumbers when soldering pipes. So here's our carbon felt. While you're at the home improvement store, go to the HVAC section where they have the ducting, and you want to buy one of these little pans. Okay, we have our tomato paste can, our cat food can, our base plate, and our carbon felt. Okay, the first step in making the stove is to get your Fancy Feast, and of course you need to empty out the can. So you take off the lid. Bon appetit. Tasty. The next step is to open your tomato paste can. What I use is a can opener that unseals the can opposed to cutting it. If you don't have one of these special can openers, the extra step that you'll need to take is after you cut that lid off, you'll have to bend down that sharp edge with some pliers. Okay, now that we've washed both of our cans and we've cut both the top and the bottom off of the tomato paste can, place the tomato paste can inside of the Fancy Feast can and measure about 1 inch up off of the Fancy Feast can on your tomato paste can. Then mark your black line all the way around the tomato paste can. Now you're going to take some tin snips and cut along that black line. Be very careful because the can will be sharp. You want to make sure that you get around this black line very evenly, or else your stove will not be level and you'll have difficulty boiling water. The next step is to cut a couple of V's in the bottom of the can. This will allow the alcohol from the inside of the stove to get out to your wick. The next step is to put 4 holes in the top of your tomato paste can. What this does is it allows that pressure to vent out underneath your pot. Sometimes I have a problem getting my bit right into that can, so I take my nail set and start a couple holes, and then I drill it out. And just to get all those sharp edges off the can, I take a little bit of sandpaper and sand it down. The next step is to cut your carbon felt. So I've made a couple stoves already out of this felt. And what you first need to do is to measure the inside of your can. The height of the Fancy Feast can is about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to measure that on my felt and cut 1.5 inch strip to go inside the Fancy Feast can. Okay, now you're going to want to take your tomato paste can and wrap it around that 1.5 inch carbon felt strip that you have. Now you're going to want to cut the length. Next, take your tomato paste can and wrap the carbon felt around the bottom portion, which has the V's on it. Pull it really tight. And then take that and insert it into your Fancy Feast can. This may be a little tough to get the carbon felt down in there. So get it in there as good as you can, and you'll still have a little bit sticking out. Go ahead and take your screwdriver and shove it in. So that tomato paste can comes with a film on it. You want to burn that film off before you use it for cooking. So I'm going to put a little extra fuel in my stove here and let it burn for about 10 minutes to get that film off. Now that your stove is complete, you'll probably want to make a windscreen. Now you can make this out of tin foil at home by folding it over 3 or 4 times to make it thick enough to be durable. But the way that I would recommend is buy a sheet of aluminum, and you can get that from DutchwareGear.com. I'll put a link down in the description of how you get there. But Dutch sells sheets of aluminum that comes in a roll, and you can get it $1.25 per linear foot. So you'll probably need about 2 feet of that. So once you get your aluminum, Measure the pot that you're going to be boiling your water in. Now, as I mentioned, I have the Totes 550. So what you need to do is you need to measure both the height and the circumference of your pot. So take the height, subtract off 1 inch. Take the circumference and add 2 inches on, and that's the size of your windscreen. Well, the purpose of the windscreen is to block the wind from hitting your flame. You do want some oxygen in to help that flame burn better. So in order to do that, you want to poke some holes in your aluminum screen, probably about 1 inch apart. And I just do that with a simple hole punch used for paper. And the final step of making your windscreen is to take your sandpaper and to sand off the sharp edges. That's all it takes to make your very own fancy feast stove. If you'd like this very stove, the base to put it on, and the windscreen, I need you to subscribe and comment down below saying that you would like this stove. After April 15th of 2020, I'll pick somebody randomly and mail this package out to you so you can have your own stove. But you know what? It's not that hard for you to make one either. So, hey, I'm getting really close to the 1,000 subscribers, and do me a favor and hit subscribe down there even if you don't want the stove. I do a lot of backpacking and outdoor videos. I do a few gear videos now and then, but I really like getting out in the woods, and I'd like to bring you along with. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you back out on the trail.